first, Lincoln Chafee's presidential meeting. Rhode Island's governor-elect just wrapped up a meeting with the commander-in-chief. He's there, along with the rest of the country's newly elected governors, to tell President Obama what they think Washington needs to be paying more attention to. Pinpoint News Tracker takes you from Providence down to Washington, D.C. That's where Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau is now live from the nation's capital.
And whether it was on the airplane in Warwick, or whether it was on the plane, or whether it was in the train on the way here to Washington, D.C., the governor-elect talked a lot about making personal connections with the faces behind the potential power here in Washington. And today he heard from two of those people, the vice president and the president, that their help is potentially only a phone call away. The president talked to the largest class of governors-elect since the 20s about extending unemployment benefits, controlling spending, and not raising taxes on the middle class. How does that balance with your penny sales tax?
He also talked about, and there was a lot of discussion about deficits, and somehow I've got to address the deficit that I've been handed in Rhode Island. I didn't create it, but I want to fix it.
Chafee was one of 4 governor-elects to address reporters after the president asked the media to leave the luncheon to talk frankly with the governors-elect. He told us there was nothing combative said between the president and the future governors after the media left. And while Chafee did not offer any specific advantages to his meetings with cabinet members and the president, he did see a distinct value. What will you tell your taxpayers specifically why was it worth it to come to Washington?
After I tell them I got pneumonia standing here, after that, the most important thing is face-to-face meetings. That's why I came. That is important. Relationships are important. And if you're going to call a secretary, to having chatted with them and seen their face and made a connection of some kind, is very, very important.
Still to be seen is whether or not he did make that connection and when he will potentially make that phone call.
Now, well, did Governor-elect Chafee talk about what he thinks he might ask Washington for help with in the future?
Again, Karen, no real specifics, but he did talk a lot about health care, how to implement the Obama health care plan. He also talked about, of course, something we always think about, the natural disaster, the snowstorm, the ice storm, even worse, the hurricane. Those might bring his first phone calls to Washington.
All right, thank you, Walt. And there's another important event going on in Washington, D.C. tonight. More than 200 friends, family, and associates are expected to join together in the Capitol to honor outgoing Rhode Island Congressman Patrick Kennedy. Tribute is focused on Kennedy's work to fight mental illness and drug and alcohol addiction. One of his late father's closest friends, Senator Christopher Dodd, will kick off the speaking program. And Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau will also be attending that event. He'll bring us highlights from the tribute to Congressman Kennedy live from the nation's capital, and that's tonight on Eyewitness News at 10 and 11.